Most athletes dream of making it to the Olympics. An OCU wrestler is working toward that dream by heading to the Olympic trials for the second time. I'm here with OCU wrestler Rachel Waters to talk about her journey as an athlete. So Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell me about your progression as an athlete, as a wrestler at OCU. How did you get to the place you are now?
I started wrestling. I grew up in Iowa, so I started wrestling there. So I wrestled on a boys team in high school, and I didn't even really understand that there were actually complete girls teams outside of the wrestling I was doing with all the boys. So when I kind of decided, oh man, this is something I like, I might want to do this in college, OCU was kind of the first one on my radar. The coach here, he talked to me before any other coaches had. Oklahoma City's not too far from my parents. It's a pretty straight shot. So the progression has kind of been wrestling in Iowa, middle school, high school, and in high school I got to do some USA level events as well. And then through college I've also been doing senior level events through OCU.
And the first time that you went to the Olympic trials, you were 17, right? Can you talk a little bit about that and how you got to that place?
Yeah, well actually, so I signed with OCU pretty quickly. I kind of knew that this is where I wanted to be. So I made that decision, I think the first day you possibly can sign as an athlete. So once I did that, OCU has the opportunity where our wrestlers can also wrestle on the senior level and try and make world teams. So as a 16, 17-year-old, they were like, hey, we're headed up to Wisconsin, who has to pick you up on the bus? And they'd pick me up at some quick trip in Des Moines, and I would go compete for them, which was really a really cool opportunity because nobody my age was really doing that, because it's definitely an expensive thing. So we did that, and so it was really cool that OCU, before I even came here, kind of pushed me to start trying to qualify for those senior level events. So as a 17-year-old, I qualified. When I did qualify, I didn't really even know that I had. They told me later. They're like, oh, by the way, because you placed this high, you qualified for Olympic trials. And I was like, what? Really awesome. So it was a cool experience because at 17 I was more kind of in awe. I was seeing all these people that I had, looked up to or seen on TV and stuff for a really long time, and I was like, oh, that's so and so, and so it's kind of an interesting thing to be going back and be 22 now, and those people are now my friends and people that I train with. So it's a really full circle experience, and I've noticed how much I've matured just thinking back on that situation.
So can you talk a little bit about the process? Once you get to trials, how do you then get to the Olympics? What is that like?
So they change it quite a bit, but you have to do so well at certain tournaments to qualify for Olympic trials. So it's already a pretty difficult task to qualify for Olympic trials. So you have to place top 7 at the US Open, or certain things like that. How I qualified was winning WCWA Nationals, and we have NAI Nationals next week. The person that wins every weight class qualifies as well. But then once you are qualified, for every weight, the winner is the person that goes to the Olympics. So one person, and once you do get to the finals, they do a best 2 out of 3 to make sure it's somebody has to win 2 times out of 3. But yeah, just one person, and they have less weights than normal, so it's a pretty tough scenario for sure.
How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'll just keep training here at OCU. So we'll continue to practice, and I'll continue to have my practice partners. So it's what has worked for me for so long, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Cool. And when and where are the trials? And if you make it to the Olympics, where will that be?
So the trials are in State College, Pennsylvania, which is where Penn State is. So yep, they will be held at the Penn State gym, which I actually competed there maybe a year and a half ago. So I'm kind of excited to go back to Penn State. I'd never been to Pennsylvania before. And then the 2020 Olympics will be, I'm not sure on the city, but they'll be in, or actually I think it's Tokyo, so they'll be in Japan. So it'll be, it's a cool venue, and I really hope that I'm able to make it there.
Great. And you were also named USA Wrestler of the Week. What does that mean, and how does that kind of prepare you and get you ready for what you have upcoming?
It really boosts my confidence for sure. For USA Wrestler of the Week, they look at everybody that's competed that week in the entire country, at every age level, every division. So being given that honor was super special, especially just because it is so difficult to obtain. So it kind of gives me that confidence to go into something that will also be very difficult to obtain. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck with the trials, and we hope to see you at the Olympics. Thanks so much for being on the show. For more information, check out MediaOCU.com.